hold.
We're not gonna make it.
We'll make it.
Pull up! Pull up! You did that on purpose, didn't you?
Hello, and welcome to episode 132 of Afterglow. Today we're going to be talking about Halo Combat Evolved, which came out along with the original Xbox. I believe it was a launch title for it. We're going to be crossing over a little bit into the Master Chief Collection version of Halo 1, which I believe was the 360 remaster of it, along with Halo Campaign Evolved. We'll be talking about it as well. I do have a guest that I will be introducing after our music break, but before our music break, let's be sure to thank the patrons that help support the show. Helping to bring Afterglow to you are the following patrons who have subscribed to us at the $1 tier, getting them a shout out in every episode. We have Poppy the Masked Keaton, OCD in every RPG, and Texan Toby with Big Red Flavor. If you also want to support the show through Patreon, you can just go to the show notes links. They will be in the show description. There should be a link tree there, and in that link tree you will find a link to the Patreon. But, of course, the show will always remain free to listen to. You can also help support the show just by leaving a review wherever you're listening to, be it Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify Podcasts. Just leave a review, leave a comment. That's one of the easiest ways to help the show without even having to spend a dime. But thank you for listening, and now on with the show. Eventually, I do need to re-record that. I do plan re-recording it whenever we either get a new patron or lose one of the hardcore three that have stuck by me for so long. I don't think they're going anywhere as long as I keep releasing stuff, but hopefully we'll be adding some in the future, in which case I can record that. But with that being said, I'm going to quit babbling, because y'all get to hear me babble on quite a bit here in a few minutes after we listen to some music from the intro of Halo Combat Evolved. And welcome back. We do have our guest with us, and he is sitting in here with me live in Studio Lethco, which is a corner of my bedroom. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hey, it's AtomicNuke. I'm just his son, and I'm here to talk about some Halo with y'all.
Indeed, my crotch spawn has joined us.
Gosh dang it.
So we have different experiences with Halo as far as the beginnings. I'll go over mine real quick. I bought an Xbox. I did not originally get Halo with it. The version I got came with a couple of games. I believe it was a Sega GT 2002 and Jet Set Radio Future, but everyone was talking about Halo at the time, so I got it very early on, and I really liked it. It was a really, really good FPS, and it grew on me to the point of where I had pre-ordered Halo 2, which you can hear about that story in the Halo 2 episode. Funnily enough, this game I didn't know at the time, it was originally supposed to come out for Mac, for Macintosh computers, until Microsoft swooped in, bought Bungie, and then the rest is history. It came out on that original Xbox. So, Atomic, what is your story?
So my story started a very long time ago whenever I was still like a glue-eating child. Basically, it's just for Christmas. All of us kids bundled together our Christmas money and bought an Xbox 360. And one of the games that we got with it was this little game called Halo 3. That is the first ever Halo game I ever played. And not gonna lie, I think it probably spoiled me a little bit for the franchise, as it's usually seen as one of the best Halo games ever made. But I played the other games not too long after. I probably should have started on those, but, well, glue-eating toddlers be glue-eating toddlers, and they don't always get the numbers right and start on one and work their way over.
But I did not teach him to eat glue. That was talent he acquired on his own.
Now, he 100% taught me to eat glue. He's just lying. But that is overall my backstory. It was a pretty nice game. I played a lot as a kid, to the point where even my sisters hardly had any time to freaking play the console. But it got me hooked on Halo, and I've been hooked ever since.
So you played the 343 remake as your first version of Halo 1, whereas I played the original. The remake, though, does have a cool feature to where you can push a button and it reverts back to mostly the Bungie version. There's a few minor alterations here and there, but nothing major. Nothing like the differences between that one and the new Campaign Evolved remake that came out recently, which we'll probably touch on here in a little bit. But what stood out for you as far as favorite levels from Halo 1?
From Halo 1, something that me and him have been talking about a lot, my favorite mission overall was 343 Guilty Spark, just because of how creepy and eerie it started. Like, I freaking loved it, how Bungie just didn't say anything about the Flood being a part of the game at all, and then it just got, like, a little bit teased. If you were looking close in that first mission, you could see occasional like Flood combat forms, kind of like, I guess, stalking the chief, even though they probably shouldn't have, because, you know, they didn't have a Gravemind at the time. That's a story of its own, but it just was really creepy and like tingled me to my core back whenever I first played it. And honestly, it's something that they really nailed with the new remake. Like, I love it a lot.
I've got kind of two that are tied for the favorite. The first one is the second mission, which is this Halo, after you crash land on the Halo. I just like how open world it is, because the first mission, you're on board the ship trying to escape. It's very on rails. But that second mission, it just opens up a lot. You have a big, large sandbox to explore. Really good. And then I also liked Silent Cartographer. You drop in the middle of a pretty wild battle between your forces and the Covenant forces, which the Covenant are the primary bad guys in this game, which he talked about the second bad guy in this game, which is considered the Flood, which... imagine zombies, more or less. It's what the Flood are. They're kind of like zombies, but a little bit more fungusy, I guess would be the word I'd use for it.
Yep. And fun fact, the Flood was about the only thing the Covenant truly feared.
Yep, I actually had a theory that eventually humanity and the Covenant would team up to take on the Flood. That was my fan theory back before Halo 2 came out, whenever I was a big fan of the series. Didn't end up actually happening that way. Not fully, at least. You have the Covenant schism, but that was my kind of fan theory behind it. So, Atomic, how about favorite weapons? What was your favorite weapon from Halo 1?
Oof. Favorite weapon from Halo 1 is the Magnum. Back whenever it was a proper hand cannon, not the crappy little nerfed version that we get today. No, back whenever that weapon was feared.
I did like the Magnum. I was definitely a shotgun guy, just because the shotgun worked miracles against the Flood infection forms whenever they came out. Yeah, that spread shot was miracle worker. I liked the rocket launcher in certain conditions, mostly in the Maw, where you have to go back aboard the destroyed Pillar of Autumn and blow the engines up. You're supposed to throw grenades in the engines to get it to blow up, but a few rockets are a lot easier to aim. So I would try to sneak in there with a rocket launcher instead to help out quite a bit. Storyline-wise, this is a game that started Halo's story, which is really, really deep, but what surprised me whenever I went back and replayed this and Campaign Evolved, and this is the original too, the game is a lot shorter than what I thought. Like, you can really beat this game in about 3 hours.
Yeah, I guess it's something where it's a lot harder to notice back then, but today... I mean, you can beat the whole game in one sitting if you tried hard enough. It's not too hard.
Yeah, it's really easy to figure out, especially if you grind through. Fortunately, back in the day, even though online wasn't a thing until later on in the Xbox's life, this game did have local multiplayer over LAN. You could actually hook up multiple Xboxes together with multiple televisions and do multiplayer that way. And I know it sounds horribly complicated compared to these days, whenever you can just hop online and play multiplayer, which you could do with Halo 2. That's how close Halo 1 was to the whole online gaming with consoles that came out. Halo 2 immediately had that, and it was huge. But with Halo 1... it was really enjoyable to either hook up multiple Xboxes, multiple TVs, and play it that way, or if that wasn't available, it did have a split screen mode. I was a huge fan of playing on Blood Gulch, which is this huge ravine with a base at either side of it. Blood Gulch made a comeback in Halo 2, but I'm fairly sure it made its debut in Halo 1, if I remember correctly, and I did spend quite a bit of time on that map, which Atomic didn't have the opportunity because he was barely a baby at this point, but he did play some online, kinda, through the Master Chief Collection, if I remember right.
Yeah,
so what do you think of the Halo 1 segment?
Honestly, I loved it a lot. It kind of reminds me how competitive hardcore fanboys can get, because I thought I was the shit whenever it came to my first-person shooter skills. Nope, I hopped onto Halo, everybody was destroying me. But thanks to Halo and how iconic it is and how fun it is, still had a good time, even if I was getting shit on.
Yeah, it's amazing. I was considered really good at video games as a kid, and then I started playing games online, and it's like, oh, I'm possibly not even average. Nothing will humble you more than hopping online and playing a game. And if your skills don't humble you, don't worry, the people you're playing against will humble you for sure. And they will let you know about verbally with all the things they are going to do to your mother.
Or crap, not even verbally. Some of you may remember the nice good old teabagging days in Halo Online's infancy.
I mean, remember, I still do it.
Oh. Well, he figures he still does it. He's a boomer.
So old. Speaking of being old, Campaign Evolved came out, and I think both of us have some gripes with it. I would consider Halo 1 an 8 out of 10 game. Campaign Evolved, I would rate like a 5.5 because they made some changes in it that really hurt. One that we're going to discuss, he might explain better than I do, but in the Silent Cartographer, that is the first part of the original game where you fight the Hunters, which are these big armored aliens that are more or less made up of these worms, but they're covered in armor. Now, the only way you're supposed to be able to take these things out is to either get really good, intricate shots in between the armor plates, or get in behind them. However, Atomic, what happens in Campaign Evolved?
Well, you see, for some reason, Halo Studios, they made a little oopsie by forgetting to add the nice little things that block your path, and instead of having to get out of your Warthog and fight them in hand-to-hand combat, you instead could just drive your Warthog in there and gun them all down in a couple of seconds. It became way too easy and took a hard, epic fight into basically looping the Hunters with your Warthog.
Halo State? You mean 343?
343 Halo Studios, all the same thing.
I refuse to call them Halo Studios because Bungie worked so hard to build the Halo franchise, and I feel like 343/Halo Studios has done nothing but run it to the ground. They had their best shot with Halo Infinite, which we may cover at some episode in the future. I feel like it was a decent attempt that they probably needed to cook in the oven a bit longer, but it wasn't bad. It was better than Halo 5, and I think it was even better than Halo 4. Liked the online quite a bit in that game too, but sadly they didn't do much with it other than, make it a big accessory store instead of, turning it into a really fun experience and adding to that single player story, which they claimed they were going to do, and then unfortunately never did. While I have you on here, Atomic, I don't know, did you ever read any of the Halo books?
Not many. I've only heard like summaries from like online videos or something. I haven't actually taken the time to sit there and read the novels at all.
I do recommend at least the first 3, which it's funny. The first 3 books all came out before Halo 2. But you've got the Fall of Reach, which covers everything up to like just right after Reach going down, but it covers the inception of the Master Chief and his entire history. Then you've got First Strike, which covers the events between Halo 1 and 2, which was interesting. And then you have The Flood, which covers the events of Halo 1. However, it gives you a little bit more depth to the story, because, of course, it's a book, not a video game, so there's a lot more depth to it. So, for any listeners out there, I do recommend at least checking out those 3 books if you're really into Halo lore. So, speaking of Halo lore, you said that your biggest shock point was The Flood. What did you think of the library?
I didn't really have any gripes with it. I kind of honestly loved how they added, I forgot what the name of the combat form is, but it's like I think it's like a tank or something like that. Honestly, I really loved how they added it to the library. That made it a lot more harder and was, in my opinion, an idea of Halo 343, whatever, taking the time to do their own thing and doing it right, honestly.
Now, I will say in Campaign Evolved, they did the library a lot better than they did in the original Halo. In the original Halo, you can almost tell they took the level layout and they, copied it 4 times, and that was the level. It's a lot harder to tell in Campaign Evolved, and on top of that, it looks a lot more flood infected. It looks like you're going into the enemy lair, whereas in the original, it looked just a lot like standard Halo structures with just maybe a little bit of the fungus stuff here and there, where it looks a lot more nasty in the remake, which is a good thing for the library. But for me, in the original game, the library is what drug the game down a bit.
Yeah, it's definitely something that they did correct on this remake. Something they made it better.
Another improvement that they made, because I'm going to try to talk quite a bit of positive where I can, even though I do think that the remake is a lesser game, or the Campaign Evolved. The Maw, that level, it is significantly better in Campaign Evolved, because the ship looks like it crash landed on the planet, and it is tore up as it should be from crash landing on the planet. In the original, it looked like it took some damage. It was a hard landing, but you could possibly patch it up and lift the thing back off if you really wanted to. Whereas in this newer version, it's like, nah, you can tell it's done.
Yeah, that's also something I loved. I know it was probably technical capabilities back then, and they weren't able to put in all the work to make it look all broken apart and everything. But in this new remake, it definitely looked a lot like there was nothing bringing the Pillar of Autumn back off the ground again.
What did you think of Cortana? Apparently, well, not apparently, but Cortana became a main character in the series for quite a while. But playing the first game, it's kind of surprising if you don't know the rest of the story how important she becomes the later games.
Well, honestly, I did like the whole Cortana thing that they did with it. The only thing I really hated from the Cortana stuff is just that they changed her look a lot. Go up and look up the original Cortana versus the remake, it's like a night and day difference. Like, in my opinion, it looks nothing like her.
The original almost looked naked, but she was low poly enough to where it wasn't like a big deal. Nothing needed censored. She just looked like a kind of like see-through, I wouldn't say even completely nude woman, but all the curves and lumps looked bare, more or less, but she's got all the digital stuff running across her body and everything. Whereas the new one, it looks like she's wearing a jumpsuit. I don't know why they would censor that for a game like this. Speaking of Campaign Evolved coming out, what are your thoughts on PS5?
I got really annoyed whenever the trailer for Campaign Evolved didn't it first show up on the PS5 and not on Xbox where it should have been?
Yeah, it debuted in PlayStation 5. Don't get me wrong, I've got no problem with Halo games coming to PlayStation 5. I feel like if someone wants to play a game, they should be able to play it wherever they want. My issue was that Halo has always been an Xbox brand. If they want to go cross-platform and release it in PlayStation 5, it's fine. Release your announcement trailer for the Xbox. And that's part of why you're killing your brand, guys.
Yeah, like, honestly, I honestly am really happy with Halo going to PlayStation because it is such a great franchise that I think everybody should have the ability to play it. But you need to be releasing at least your trailers on your primary console first. Releasing that on the PS5 first is just like a slap in the face.
Well, the other gripe that I had about it, if you're going to go cross-platform with it, make it online PvP. The fact that there was no PvP when the original had PvP that we were talking about with the online LAN thing, it would have been fine if it would have been basic PvP. Give us like 6 maps, 4 players, have at it. We didn't get that though. We just got online co-op, which is cool. The co-op should have been there, but it feels like an entire mode is missing from that new version, in my opinion. If it's missing, fine, make it a $30 game, but for $50, I wasn't thrilled with the price. Let alone those poor souls that paid $70 to play the game, 4 or 5 days early?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of that for any game, of paying the extra to play it a few days early, but that is our modern gaming world, I assume.
Unfortunately.
So, they did add skulls to the remake, which is another feature that I kind of enjoy. The skulls, you find them in the level, they're hidden, and you can toggle them on or off to modify stuff in the game, which is kind of cool. Outside of all that, do you have any other specific memories of the original Halo that you want to talk about?
Not many, because of how, early on in my life it happened. The 343 one is just like something that's stuck in my mind for a while because it, like, as a child, it genuinely messed me up for a couple of days playing through that level. I will say, while he did say something about the skulls, though, I freaking love how they allow you to go back up to the 60 round magazine. The previous ones was 60, but these newer ones, they have limited you to, I think it's 36 rounds.
Yeah.
And there is a skull you can find in the first level that ups it back up to 60. And I think that is an awesome addition to help make things newer and harder, somewhat, but also allow you to go back and play it how it was meant to be played.
Now, that is one of my gripes with the new game. They added a sprint button. And I'm not going to get involved in the whole, Halo shouldn't have sprint, Halo should have sprint. I don't care if it has sprint or not, but if it does have sprint, they need to redo the game to where sprint is a mechanic and not just bolted on to the points to where in some areas where you would have to blast your way out and think methodically, now you can just hit that sprint button and you can run through it. Like, at least sprint was in Halo Reach whenever it was an add-on for your Spartan that you had to have a piece of equipment for to use, and it was a limited time ability, where in this one you can just run to your heart's content. The original game wasn't designed for sprint. So I don't think it should be in here unless you completely redid the game, which they had the opportunity to, but they didn't, to where you can't just run through and bypass everything. And that's a big issue because I found myself actually doing that in a lot of the flood levels. It's like, yeah, I could hang back and blow all these flood away, or I can just, let my shields take a couple hits and run past them to the next area, and then my shields recharge and I'm good again. That's really one of my biggest gripes with the remake, or not the remake, I'm sorry, the campaign evolved version. So outside of that, you can find AtomicNuke. He did make his debut on episode 100 of Afterglow. You'll probably also catch him online on Steam. He might be hopping in the Discord every once in a while. You never know. But outside of that, is there anything else you want to go over before we begin to wrap this up?
My personal advice, do not pay full price for Halo Campaign Evolved. I would definitely be a bargain hunter and get it on sale. I do not think it is worth $50.
Or you can just go online and buy a copy of the original Halo. You don't even need an original Xbox. You can just emulate it and just legally buy that original version, if you will. It did also come out for PC. You can also play the Master Chief Collection on PC if you wanted to. We're going to get an eBay real quick. We're going to look up how much that original Xbox version is, if we can load it up real quick. Well, don't pay that much for it. What in the world? Okay, so maybe well, there's a copy for $33. Okay, so I'm gonna go back in my word. Do not. Oh, there we go. That's better. $16 for a copy of Halo 1 for the original Xbox. Although, I mean, if you're smart, it would be actually cheaper to buy the Master Chief Collection. Which I can't believe I'm saying that, but Master Chief Collection often I see on sale can be as low as $10 to $20 on either Steam or on the Xbox platform of your choice. Checking on Steam prices right now, it is currently $40, which again it includes Halo 1 plus 2, 3, 4 ODST and Reach, but you can play that original version without paying that eBay price. I'm shocked it costs that much, to be honest with you, because that game sold on the original Xbox quite a lot.
Yeah, I know I got my copy for, I think it was like 24 or something like that, a couple years ago.
So yeah, I would say just get that Master Chief Collection where you can just toggle the original mode on and off if you want. It's kind of a live shock, to be honest with you, because I could have sworn that it was significantly cheaper. If you do go with a Master Chief Collection, you can buy the games piecemeal rather than paying $40. I just pay the $40, but you can get Combat Evolved Anniversary for $10 if you choose to go by itself. So with that being said, let's listen to some more music from Halo before we roll our outro. And again, Atomic, thank you for joining in on the show.
No problem. You guys have a good day.
As always, thank you for joining us in another episode of Afterglow. Be sure to check out the show notes, the show links. Just check the About section wherever you're listening at. You're going to find a link tree there. In that link tree, you're going to find links to all kinds of friends of the show. You're going to find a link to the Afterglow Patreon if you want to join in there, where for $1 a month you get a shout out at the beginning of every episode. You'll find a link to our Discord where you can join in and chat with us and play a few games. Every Wednesday, I post a random NES screenshot, and I ask you guys to figure out what game that screenshot comes from. There is also a merch store if you want to throw out an Afterglow t-shirt. There's stickers, there's magnets, all kinds of weird stuff on there if you just want to grab some Afterglow merch. And then finally, friends of the show. That's the big one. Links to many other YouTube channels, podcasts. I have a friend of the show who has a really fun book of... it's hard to explain in a way, but I love the concept behind it. Imagine if you got sucked into a game, but it's very, very dark humor. And I really enjoy it. Highly recommend you check that out. He wants to maybe turn it into a series. Book 1 can already be checked out, though. You can find that in the show notes. And be sure to listen in, because right after I'm done talking, we got a bunch of other people who would like you to check out their shows as well.
For more than 15 years, Retro Gaming Roundup has been the centre of your retro gaming universe, with top 10s, interviews, game reviews, news, and much more from all over the globe. Be sure to tune in every month for a new dose of Retro Gaming Roundup. That's RetroGamingRoundup.com.
Hello and welcome to the Reviews Brothers. It's me, Martin, and you can join me on YouTube, where I have hundreds of videos covering a huge range of video game topics. I've got top 10s, hidden gems, console-focused A to Zs, as well as dedicated videos to topics like Doom mods, 3D platform games, ninja games, pirate games, and more. I cover all systems from Commodore 64 right up to modern consoles. Nothing gaming is off the table. So be sure to search for the Reviews Brothers on YouTube, as well as on Instagram and TikTok, for hundreds of retro and modern video game reviews.
Hey, this is Toby, one half of the Secret Levels podcast. We're a podcast that goes over old retro games. We go over the history, the story, the gameplay, some fun facts. We even rage a little bit. And then we go and give it a nice 1 to 10 rating to let you know if it's still worth playing. We have over 200 reviews for games on the NES, the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and many other consoles. You can find us on all the major podcasting apps, such as Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and you can follow us on social media at Secret Levels Pod. Game over, folks.
Imagine the most intense and realistic survival game ever built. Now imagine that you've just been dropped into it. No guides, no wiki, no respawn. Are you ready? Follow Daniel and Grace into a brutal landscape where the environment is just as lethal as the predators roaming it. This isn't about leveling up. It's about surviving a system designed to delete you. PvE, player versus everything. Book 1 of the Condemned in a Console series. Available now on Bookfuddle by Lord Stephen Asher.
Afterglow listeners, it's me, Keith Gasper, coming at you from the #1 retro gaming podcast, the Main Quest Podcast. Come hang out as a guest and I play and discuss a game from the backlog of my childhood. We're talking about our history and the history of the game, and if it's worth checking out today. We're talking about games from the NES, the Sega Genesis, TurboGrafx, Game Boy, and much more. And that's just on the main feed. If you enjoy what you're hearing on Afterglow, you're going to enjoy the main quest, and I'm happy to have you. Find the Main Quest on Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, Spotify, and wherever great podcasts are downloaded.
Hello, my name is Aaron. I'm one half of Superpod Saga, a topical variety video game podcast fueled entirely by nostalgia and unleaded gasoline. Superpod Saga, we discuss a different video game topic each and every week. We have new episodes every single Monday covering a different video game topic. More than anything, we want to entertain our listeners and make you feel like you're one of the boys, like you're hanging out at a campfire with some of your best zany, caffeine-powered buddies and just talking about your favorite games and all that stuff. Stop on down to Superpod Saga. It's on every podcatcher there is. If it's not, let me know and we'll get on it. But again, Superpod Saga, stop on by.